Hi there, folks. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name's Carrie. I am City Market's Assistant Outreach and Education Manager. I'm the one who's been sending you all of the emails for this class, so now you can finally put a face to a name. I'm going to go over a couple quick logistic things before we start our class with Gary tonight. This is probably the only time you'll see me on camera, otherwise I'll be behind the scenes. I will put an announcement into the Q&A box. That's where you can submit questions and comments during the stream tonight. If at any point the sound software that we are using gives up, which I can hear, it's a little glitchy, so I'm going to fix it when I go back, but hopefully you can still hear me. Sometimes it just decides it doesn't want to participate and I need to give it a quick restart, so you'll start hearing it kind of glitchy. You can always put a comment into that. Just know that you are watching on about a 30-second delay from us. And then if you put your comment in and I see it and I fix it, that's another 30 seconds. So just know that I promise I've seen it. I'm getting to it and sound should clear up while you're watching. I apologize in advance if that happens. If you're joining us a little bit late, you can also hit live. It's down at the bottom near the play pause button, and that will just catch you up to where we are live rather than making you start from the very beginning and watching 5 minutes of the "we'll get started shortly" slide. I think that's it from me. I will send a survey out tomorrow via email. Would love to know folks' thoughts on the class, ideas for other classes that you'd like to see. But that's enough of me talking, so I will turn things over to our lovely instructor, Gary. Take it away.
Thank you, and hello everybody. It's me, Gary Stuard, the pie guy, and what we have today is a fantastic strawberry balsamic pie. It's too early up here in Vermont for rhubarb, which I would do because I love rhubarb. And strawberry rhubarb pie is one of my specialties. But strawberry balsamic pie is very, very good. I've tried it out once, and I've made a pie for today, last night, and then I'll be making another one this evening for y'all. So anyway, just a quick word. Last time I made pie for this group, and it was for the sunken chocolate cake, I believe. And some people noticed that I wasn't as exuberant as I usually am, and then I was looking at the recipe, like I kind of got lost. And I did get lost, though I had made it innumerable times. But I had a little health concern that came up in the beginning of January. Thank you. January came up. And so I was kind of thinking, well, you know, I should be over it by now. Well, I really wasn't. And I'm sorry about that. But I think the old Gary that you have met through this class is back. And so I'm going to do the pie now. But again, I wanted to kind of explain that, and I hope that y'all are back. And we got a lot more cooking adventures ahead of us. So
we're excited to have you back.
Yes, thank you. Cooking is good therapy. Very good therapy. So first thing is the crust. Now we've already done the crust. It's 2.5 cups of flour with some little bit of salt, some sugar in it, like a, let's see, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt or just salt, and 2 sticks of butter. I'm not using shortening this time. I followed the recipe. And when I'm making something for the first time, I follow the recipe for it. But I've already have kind of jerry-rigged it a little bit, or you know, up the spices or up the sugar to it. But I try to follow the recipe as it is. Okay. So, and this is the first time I've made a pie crust that has vinegar in it, just a little bit. In prior classes, people have asked me, well, you know, what about vinegar? Have you used it? Have you done it? What do you think of it? And I've never really done it before. I mean, my mother and her grandmother, they were excellent pie makers. They never used vinegar. But then I found out through Carrie, she mentioned that, well, vinegar helps to cut the formation of gluten, so it keeps it from being overly sticky. So, so those who use vinegar, fine. Those who don't, well, fine too. Just follow the instructions. But we are going to go ahead and add a cup of water.
Uh-oh, Gary, it's your favorite question. If
Yes.
you were going to use frozen pie crust, what size would you buy?
9.5 inch.
Okay, 9.5 inch.
That is only for the bottom. If you're going to have crust, I don't know how you would do.
Buy another one and
buy another
cut the lattice
and cut it. That is one of my favorite questions.
But Gary also loves showing you just how easy homemade pie crust is.
Yes.
So you don't have to buy frozen if you don't want.
Yes. There are better frozen crusts. I would check around and, just Google it and look for, for the best kind of frozen crust that you can get. Or they may have it, I don't know if we do, but like it's not already set in the pan, but it's just like dough. That might be a possibility. But one of the things I meant to show in doing these classes is that making pie from scratch is really easy. There are more complicated desserts and more involved, but making pie crust is really simple. I mean, now I just rattle it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many hundreds of thousands of pies have you made, though?
Yes, that is true.
As the pie guy.
But if you follow the recipe, it's really quite simple. So I sift all the ingredients, the dry ingredients through here. And then I get my sticks of butter, or most of the pie recipes that I've done are like a stick and a half of butter and without salt, please. And then a cup or half a cup of shortening. And I get Spector's shortening because it's non-hydrogenated shortening. But if, true Southerners out there, you will have Crisco and then use Crisco, okay? And then with the butter, as you can see, I left the telltale signs. I use this end of a grater to slice it up. It's far easier to work the slices of butter into the crust than getting a stick of butter and chopping it up and then try to work it in. No, this is a much easier way. You can use an electric blender if you want. I just like doing it this way because it kind of connects me to my mom and her mom, and it's very meditative. So
yeah, so that's a good reminder. Is Gary has done a ton of these classes with us. Oh, that's your balsamic vinegar. I don't think you want your balsamic. You want your cider.
No.
Pie crust,
right? Thank you.
Gary has done a lot of pie crust videos for us before, so we kind of decided to skip half of the pie crust making process because a lot of you have seen that before. If you want to go back, all of Gary's videos from us are up on our website, and there are many of them where he's made pie crust before. So that is definitely, if you want to sort of see that process, you can go back and watch that. But we decided to kind of skip ahead a few steps in this video so we can get to the important part, which is the filling.
Yes, and don't attempt.
I mean, it probably would have worked. It might have just tasted a little weird.
Yeah. But anyway, this is 1/4 of apple cider vinegar or cider vinegar that I'm going to put into this cup of ice water. And I need a fork.
Yep, let me get you one.
Okay.
We also have somebody asking, can you use all shortening?
All shortening.
Like instead of butter, could you use all?
Yeah,
all shortening?
you can.
flavor
it will
problem.
taste.
Yeah.
It will taste different. If you're vegan, then just get good margarine. Just get
Butter
good
flavored
margarine,
short.
butter flavored margarine,
Yep.
and that will work just fine. Now, you see, I add a little bit of water, and I put in a little bit at a time. I mean, just have a big puddle? No. No, you want to work the water in, and you want it to be worked in an evenly distributed way. So,
for the person asking about frozen pie crust, if you are a City Market shopper, we sell Mirabelle's pie crust, which is a local bakery, and that is a really good option.
yeah,
if you're not making your own.
Mirabelle's. Sad to say, my husband and I, Fred is here with me. He's
off camera.
Yes, he's off camera, but he's always in my heart. And we haven't been to Mirabelle yet.
Oh, it's so good. You got to go.
Oh, yes, they moved. They were downtown,
Right in
Burlington.
South Burlington. Yep.
But they moved to a better store building in Colchester?
South Burlington, I think. They're right over by Pet Food Warehouse.
From where?
Right over by Pet Food Warehouse. They're in that shopping strip back there.
Okay.
But so good.
And there are a number of good bakeries in the Vermont area. I like Klinger's.
Yep.
They're pretty good. Now you can see what's happening. I'm getting balls of pie dough flour clumping together. And that's what I want. I want the water to gradually be assimilated by the flour.
That's also a good reminder. We would love to know where people are tuning in from. If you're not a Burlington local, or if you are, anybody who's tuning in, I'd love if people want to share in the Q&A box where they're tuning in from. We've had a couple already. I think we've had Ontario and Los Angeles. So
wow,
got the whole spread already. But
wow, yeah, but
from.
I think California has been well represented ever since we've done this.
Everybody always wants to tune in.
Yeah, and we've had Texas, my home state, Kansas, Missouri, Vermont.
New York City, I believe. We had a New York
person. New York City. Now, that looks like that is...
Someone asks, what size is the bowl that you're using?
Oh.
It's a big one. This is one from our prep foods kitchen, so it's probably a little too big, but I'd say that's almost a 2-gallon bowl, maybe gallon and a half.
Yeah, we have something like this.
It's big.
But it's a little bit higher.
Yeah,
it's higher.
This is
maybe not as wide, but it's pretty much the same size. And I chose a metal bowl because I've had to do it less here than elsewhere, though I may try to do it during the summertime. But in Texas, it's usually very humid and very warm. I mean, they've already had 90-day temps down there. And the thing is, you want to try to keep the butter fat from melting. You want to have the dough or the shortening worked in enough, but just enough that you see little pea-size of butter fat. You know, it isn't completely worked in, and that helps to create a flaky crust.
And someone asked, what purpose does the vinegar have in the crust? Like Gary said, it helps to inhibit gluten. And gluten is what makes your pie dough tough and kind of chewy rather than flaky. And it doesn't taste like vinegar. It's a small enough amount that your pie crust just tastes like pie crust.
Yes, I have not tasted vinegar. Yeah. But also, I would chill the metal bowl, particularly in the summertime. I would keep mine. Well, we could keep it in the freezer, but even in the refrigerator, it'll stay cold. Yeah. So when you pull it out, then you're working your flour crust dough, then the butter and the shortening won't melt as quickly. So these are some of the tricks of the trade.
I mean, it almost feels like summer here today. We got up to 65, 66.
Yeah, and
It's our first
yesterday it
taste of
felt
spring.
cold. It was in the low 40s yesterday. They were predicting sleet, but luckily we dodged a
Say it
bullet.
hit south of us and north of us instead.
Yes.
Apparently right across the border in Canada got hammered by like an ice storm.
So Lake Champlain, once again, to the rescue,
Yep.
though it does provide a lot of humidity during the summer months. But anyway, okay, now I can form 2 discs of dough, one for the crust, bottom crust. That will be a little bit bigger because the crust for the bottom needs more dough.
So not quite evenly in half, a little bit.
Yeah,
skewed.
a little
Okay.
more for the bottom half of the dough. And the top will be for lattice work, and we'll do some lattice work tonight.
Gonna get fancy.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about what book this recipe's from?
Yes.
Once you're not covered in pie dough. Someone was curious.
Well, later on I will.
Great.
I did at the beginning. I did introduce the book, and I think they're bakers from New York City. I can't remember their names.
Great.
But you know, most of the recipes that I teach are from established bakers. Martha Stuart is definitely one of them. In fact, the 4 and 20 Blackbird Pie book by Emily Elson and Melissa Elson.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Everybody's got to have a Fred in the kitchen.
Yes. As I said, everybody
Cookbook
needs a
stand
Fred.
extraordinaire.
Yes. These can go into the refrigerated section.
I got you.
So whenever I can find a great pie recipe, I will take it. Pie, tart, I will take it. I even have old from the 80s, gourmet magazines that I have, made the pies or tarts or cakes for, 40 years, almost 40 years. That's so hard to believe. And so I will take note of whoever I should give credit to, and I will. But like any of the pie recipes that I have done, sometimes I tweak them. I put a little more sugar in or add a little more spices in, and you'll do that too. And also you'll learn, like making this pie. Oh, I could add, wouldn't red raspberries do well with balsamic? Yeah, and I've made a red raspberry rhubarb pie that is to die for. It really is.
We should do that one for the next class. I wouldn't do that one.
Yeah, that one, it's good and it's easy, and so let your imaginations not let it go wild, but let it think, this would be good to add to this and that, and then take the recipe, try to follow it to as it is written, unless you feel confident, like, oh, maybe I'll jump up on the sugar, which I've done with this, I'm going to do with this. But try to do it first, and when you're comfortable with it and you think, this is good, but I think it would taste even better, that's what a real cook does. So there we are. Now, it's time for the strawberries.
And you can see this is why we did not bill this as a cook-along, because we've had some steps completed ahead of time to fit it within our class time tonight. But you want to use this as sort of a learning experience and then go try and make this pie. And if you do, send us pictures. We love getting pictures of people making these recipes after the fact. But if we had to sit here and have Gary, top and cut a bunch of strawberries, we'd be here until like 8 o'clock, and you all would be very bored.
And it took a while to process these, to hull them and then cut them in quarters. So, and then I had to sprinkle, it said 3 tablespoons of sugar. I put in like a half cup of sugar in it to let it marinate for a while, and then tip the bowl over the sink and let the excess water come out after I let it sit for 30 minutes or an hour. Okay, the sugar makes the strawberries maybe a little bit more tender, and those are beautiful strawberries, by the way.
This is a good dreaming of spring pie, because it's not strawberry season here in Vermont yet, but looking forward to it.
Well, we get, and these are organic, but they're from Driscoll. Mm-hmm. Yes, but how long is the strawberry season?
It's short. I just know whenever it comes up, everyone's like, we got to go pick strawberries right now, because they might be done in
do get
2 days.
Yeah, in the summertime, late spring, early summer, early fall, it's heaven.
Yeah.
The produce here is just fabulous. There we go.
So you're adding the apple right now?
Yes. My Fred graciously agreed to peel, quarter, and the seed or core the apples. And I just, yes, I will pay him later.
He gets a piece of pie. I mean,
yeah, but I think he wants a little more payment than that. But that's okay. That's okay. A cook can't be too picky. And
someone's curious, what's the apple doing? Why do you not just do straight strawberry?
I think the apple is sort of like a thickening agent.
Yeah, it's got pectin in it.
Yeah.
Strawberries don't have a lot of their own natural pectin, and so you need something to kind of help thicken it. Oh, someone's asking, how would you use frozen strawberries in this pie?
That's a good question. And I think
it'd be hard because it'd be so wet, right?
Yes. I've used blueberries when they were frozen, but they're small enough that, they start thawing right away. I don't know about that.
Try it and let us know.
Yes, let us know. I would think, well, one, they couldn't be solid blocks. No. I mean, I'm thinking about the old-fashioned frozen fruit.
The bags all frozen together in a solid.
Yeah, no, that won't work. But whole frozen strawberries, I think they could work. The trouble, though, will be the water.
Yeah, because you couldn't do that step.
Yeah, you couldn't, how do you say it? Macerate the strawberries with the sugar. So I would kind of avoid doing that.
Yeah.
Unless you can do research on it and find out, well, is there a way to do it?
Yeah, I would almost think thaw them, drain off a lot of the liquid that comes out when they thaw, and then work from squishy thawed.
Yes.
But let us know. That's really an interesting question, something interesting to try. Someone says, I concur, everyone needs a Fred. So.
And I think everyone probably, or nearly everyone on this line has a Fred.
Yep.
So
if you can't get your own Fred, store-bought is fine. the Ina Garten meme.
You have a Fred too, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Yes. And also, in doing this, tossing it, I also look to see if there's any leaves that from the strawberry tops sneak their way in. I try to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, that looks like...
Oh, someone commented, I think you would need a lot more thickening agent. That's true. You'd have a lot more liquid, so you'd probably want to up the arrowroot.
Yes.
Interesting. It's an interesting thought. Let us know if you try it.
Okay, now this is where I sprinkle 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar.
We also do have the oven preheating for anybody who is trying to bake this recipe tonight. Our oven has been preheating at 425 for a little bit.
And I work that in. And again, you know, simple things are a joy. When I'm cooking, I try to make this my meditative practice. And of course, I don't mean to say I do, you know, full lotus yoga doing, you know, cooking. That would not work. But I try to be in the present moment when I'm cooking and to see the joy that is before me. And that I'm looking down at beautiful strawberries. And here, to let y'all take a peek. And it's a beautiful thing. And to remind ourselves, particularly with the news the way it has been lately, that we need to grasp joy when it comes to us, and it comes to us in most simple ways. So let's pay attention to that. Now, I am going to put in some Angostura bitters, 2 dashes.
Someone's asking, Alice is asking, can you leave the bitters out of the recipe?
Yeah, it won't be the same kind of recipe, but you know.
Yeah. They just add sort of a really interesting background note.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It tasted like cinnamon and clove and
a little bit bitter, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
It's good against all the sweetness. We looked at it, and apparently it's a closely guarded family secret, and only one person alive knows the whole recipe.
Yes.
They won't even say on the label what's in it.
No.
It's that secret.
Okay. So I've done that. And now I have this right here. This has sugar. I put in 1 whole, 1 cup. It said 3/4 cup, but oh no, you can do that. I just like, what's the problem with a little more sugar? So I put in half cup. No, I put in a full cup of light brown sugar. I put in
a little bit of the granulated that was left. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone's asking about the arrowroot as well. Could you do a different thickener like cornstarch if that's what you had?
Yes. And I need to add the starch to this.
This is basically just a different starch, especially if people are like avoiding corn for whatever reason. Arrowroot's a different plant that has some of the same thickening properties, and so a lot of bakers like to use it for allergy sensitivity.
Yeah, I had to put in more thickening agents. I found out then.
Like when you tested this?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I had to put in more. I mean, it did help, but we still had some excess fluids, and I guess that's just, you can't escape it when you use something like strawberries.
I was saying strawberries can be so different. You can have kind of dry, sad ones, and you can have really juicy ones. And
well, I was very fortunate. I got these strawberries. They were Driscoll's strawberries, I believe, but they were from Central Market, and I got it at the downtown store because I bought it during my off time.
And they're really juicy, apparently.
Oh, they were. So I put 5 there.
Is there a way to save a pie if when you've baked it, you notice it's still really, really wet? Like, can you drain it or anything? Or is it
Yeah,
just
you can.
go for a wet pie?
Well, some pies are just a little wet. Strawberries are. So I added 5, let's see, what is it? 5 tablespoons of ground arrowroot into this. But if it, and I cooked it a little bit longer than the first time I made it. And it was a little better. There was still some little bit of liquid on top. So, just tip it over and, just gently tip it over and let it drain out if you need to.
Especially after it's cooled, right?
Yes, after it's cool, because if you pick it up when it's still hot, you'll drop it.
Yeah.
And then, the juice will be on the floor.
Yeah. Someone's asking for the balsamic vinegar. Costco sells a balsamic glaze. Can that be used? I think it would be like a concentrate.
Yeah, I think I would just
Got a lot
go
more
with,
sugar added to it. You could try it though, again, like maybe knock back a little bit of the brown sugar and use the glaze instead. And it's one of those, like, try it and see.
Yeah, I mean, if it is a glaze, if it is a concentrate, look at what on the backside of the product and see what they recommend.
I know the one that we sell here has a lot of added sugar, and so it would definitely still work, but be pretty sweet.
Yeah. So I'm now adding the various sugar combination, like brown sugar with white sugar.
Oh yeah, here's someone asking, I've used cornstarch in the past. Can it be used instead of the arrowroot? Probably 1-to-1 sub, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I normally use cornstarch. And most of the recipes call for it, so. And now I think this is, and the last ingredient. Black pepper. I don't have a grinder, so I just think that, it says 2 grinds or shakes of black pepper, so 1, 2.
Nicely done.
Yep. You don't want it to taste too peppery.
No, it's just, again, to add a little bit of that warmth,
right? A little bit of oomph to it.
I would eat that out of the bowl. I mean, I know it's covered in arrowroot starch, so maybe not until it's cooked, but that looks so good.
And I'm going to see, this is one of the privileges of cooking. We get to taste. That's very good. That's very good.
Great. All right, pie crust time.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, pie crust time. People are really excited to see how you roll out pie crust.
Yes. So, put this over here.
And so this is a batch of pie dough that you made earlier and has been
Now this has been chilled for quite a while now. When I bring this out, Fred says Gary's going to cook.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it's a French style rolling pin.
Yes.
So it's like not handled like American style.
They're tapered at the end. I find this so much easier to work with than the big ones with the small little handles. This one just fits the hands perfectly. Now I will roll out the dough for the bottom half. And I put in some flour down on the bottom so that the dough, when it gets spread out, doesn't stick. And I put an indentation into my disc of flour before I put them in the refrigerator. So then they're a little bit easier. They're not like just one solid, a solid ball, but they have an indent in them, and so it's easier, to roll them out. And I love this rolling pin because it's easier to handle, so much easier to handle. So you can see. And I try to make sure that I get a round as much as possible circle of dough.
And so you really are focusing on like out from the middle rather than just back and forth. Okay,
yes.
Great.
Now it's just like second nature to me.
I think I asked you this at your last class, but if you really had to guess how many pies you've made in your life,
oh my
do you
God,
think you could put a finger to it?
No. I cannot imagine how many have I done.
All right, maybe average in a year. How many pies do you feel like you make a year?
Fred, any idea?
Yeah, Fred, how many pies does Dairy bake in a year?
I would say probably
He's thinking about it.
well over 100.
Well over 100.
And I would say, just from being around him at the time I've known him, well over 1,000.
Yeah, we're thinking over 1,000 pies at this point at least.
Wow.
If we had to guess, Fred and I, me,
wow.
Just, as an outside observer.
Wow. That should make me feel tired, but it doesn't. This is like, oh, how much fun. Of course, I've made more when I started having a side business of making pies for the holiday season for people, which is I find very gratifying. And I do have a website, The Pie Guy, but if you look on YouTube, say Pie Guy Gary Stuard, Stuard, and that should take you to my place. So if you're in Vermont, close to the Burlington Metroplex, if I can use the term Metroplex, look me up. So this is about 9.5 inches.
So we have someone asking an off-topic question.
Yes.
She said, off-topic, will cream of tartar make lemon meringue pie a little bit tartar, as in get the taste buds tingling?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I just Googled it because I was curious. And the cream of tartar in lemon meringue pie is used to stabilize the egg whites in the meringue. I don't think it does much for flavor. I think it's more of a chemical stabilizer, but I do know that you can get lemon juice powder and lemon juice concentrate. If you're really looking for like super tart, you could add extra, or like citric acid even, but I think the cream of tartar is more of like a flavorless meringue stabilizer than a flavor.
I wonder if you could put like lemon zest.
Yeah, the zest doesn't have the like bitey though, it's just the lemon flavor. I'm thinking they want the like acidic. You can buy powdered citric acid, which is usually made from lemon juice, I think, and just dump enough of that in there to get it bitey for you. Also, someone saying, if so many pies, why is he so slim? And I would like to ask the same question. I want to know the answer to that.
Well, if true confessions, I wasn't always this thin. I was when we first met, but in my 50s, I actually weighed over 200 pounds. I didn't get to, obscenely overweight, but I had a middle-age spread and I did not like that. I hated it. And then I found out, oh, I have diabetes. And so I had to take metformin. And I got up to the point where I was taking 4 a day. I lost weight like crazy. I was down to 171. Now I think the last time I weighed I weighed 187.
So the answer is you make a lot of pies, but
To give
away.
To give away.
Someone asks, should you drain the liquid out of this bowl of filling, or are you dumping the whole thing in?
I'm dumping the whole thing
so
in.
you do want that liquid.
Because, yeah.
Here they say they've tried the zest and they weren't happy, didn't get the side taste buds dancing. Yeah, I would look for citric acid powder or lemon juice powder, because that'll add more zing without more liquid, because if you add more liquid, you're going to have a soupy pie. And
thanks for you guys, or you all, for asking such questions.
Yeah.
Even if it's not relevant per se to the dish that we're working with. I mean, we are a community of bakers, and Lord knows I can learn still. And every time I try a pie that I haven't made before, I'm learning something. And so I'm glad you are sharing tips on different cooking, or different aspects of cooking. Oh my gosh, just doesn't that look beautiful?
It looks so good, and it's like the perfect amount to fill your pie dish. I'm very impressed. I always usually overfill or underfill pies. Really sad looking underfilled pie.
A pie should never look sad.
Yep.
Though I have tried pies that look kind of sad, but oh, they tasted so good.
I think it's because I tried to make a recipe that was for a normal 9-inch pie plate in a deep dish pie plate, and so it looked really like short filling wise.
Yeah, I think that happened to me recently when I made a lime curd tart.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. But the recipe called for a 7-inch crust, and I had a 9.5-inch crust.
Most tart pans
and I sort of doubled the recipe for the crust, but I didn't double the recipe for the filling. It tasted great, but it was a little bit crust heavy. Okay.
Do you want me to run that into the fridge yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
Lattice? Okay.
Not yet, because we still have the lattice work. We still have the lattice work to do. Can we have an update of how who else is watching?
We had 25 people at our highest. We had one person who had to log off and is going to catch the recording, but we got 25 watching. No one else has posted where they're from.
Very good.
No one's posted from Texas yet. I can't see like where people's IP addresses are. That would be really creepy, but they're all anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you feel like sharing your name, you're anonymous to me.
Anessa was someone we were friends with. She worked at a Central Market, part of HEB in Texas, and she worked at the Central Market in Dallas, and that store was incredible. HEB stores, their Central Market stores were designed like a labyrinth, and it would take you from produce and to cooking equipment to meat and seafood, and take you to beer and wine. And boy, their beer and wine selection was incredible. And then
set it up so that you saw everything like you liked.
Yes, though there were little doorways that could lead you to different, but they were small, and I don't think you could, put your cart through them. Or if you did, it would be one at a time. But so anyway, that was incredible. And she was one of the cooks there, right?
Yeah, chef extraordinaire.
She was, and Mexican cuisine, right?
What's that?
She specialized in Mexican cuisine, and I mean Mexican, not Tex-Mex.
Yeah. Oh, we have another great question. I know the edges are supposed to cut off, but can the edges be folded into the onto the strawberries and left the middle open?
I guess you could. I just made cookies with the excess dough, and you know, they were quite yummy. Okay, so I'm going to.
We have Kathleen asking about what your YouTube page is called. Can I find you on YouTube? Or are you not on YouTube?
Oh,
I think
I'm
they might
not
be
on
meaning
YouTube.
our YouTube. I'll post our link so that people can watch your videos with us.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I will get the right link for our class recordings, and then you all can check out Gary's other classes. He's actually the most recent one up there as well. His sunken chocolate cake. All right, got the link.
Okay. And I'm cutting for the lattice work. And I had enough flour on the board to work with, and that this is not too sticky.
Mimi is asking, could you use whole wheat flour in the crust recipe?
Yes, I would probably do, I can't figure out yet the exact amount of whole wheat flour and regular white flour, but I would, you know, be a combo. I wouldn't do just straight whole wheat flour. Unless I've had experience, and then I can see whether or not I could work with whole wheat flour.
Or found a specific
But
whole
I think a
wheat
balance where you can use some whole wheat, either some, or have it mostly be whole wheat, but then some white flour put into it.
And then we have also someone asking, I am not good at making pies. Any book that you could recommend for a novice to impress my family? Do you have like a really good sort of basics pie cookbook that you can recommend?
This one, I mean, some of them are a little more involved, but some of them are rather just, oops, sorry, I was showing it.
Showing it to me, yeah.
Yes, to Carrie. This is a good one. The one that has been sort of like and I still use it, it's a Martha Stewart's Original Pies and Tarts cookbook. I don't know if it's available, but you can order it, I'm sure.
So sure, find it used.
And you can find it used. I would just say go and, I mean, those that I gave you, those are really good ones. I have a few others, and maybe next time I do this, I can bring some of the different cookbooks that I've used. And I haven't used all of the different recipes in them, not even the Martha Stewart one. But those are the two that really spring to mind. Great. But you know, you can just go to a good bookstore and just see what they have. And I want pictures. I want to see what I am told I'm going to make. And I'd rather have it that each page has a picture of what I'm going to cook. And I want it to also be accessible in the sense that the recipe is easy to read. You know, sometimes if the recipe or the cookbook is such that the recipes are really good, they may not be the easiest to read, but they, you know, it looks like a terrific recipe, then I'll use it. Like some of my recipes from my gourmet magazines are very small, but you know, I do it. But find one that the format is friendly, user-friendly, and has pictures, so it gives you an idea what it's supposed to look like. Okay.
Someone asked you, how thick did you roll the bottom crust and the lattice? Like what's the thinness of the dough that you're looking for?
I think the lattice can be a little bit thinner. I like, well, you don't want too thick of a butter crust at the bottom, but this is how thick it is. I don't know how, in inches or halves or what of inches, but the bottom crust is thicker. Not too thick, but it's thick enough that it will support the pie. You don't want too thin of a crust for the bottom pie. For the top, that should be a little bit easier to crunch into, to bite into.
I just put the Amazon link for I know we don't love Amazon, but it's just the easiest one to share. The book that Gary just showed is the 4 and 20 Blackbird Pie book. My recommendation, I know you're all here for Gary, but I'm here too. I love Pie It Forward because it's by a local Vermont author, Justine Bullock Prado.
I had to see that.
Pie It Forward is another really good one and sort of like basic, here's how to start making pies, but also make some kind of interesting changes and stuff. So Pie It Forward by Justine Bullock Prado is another good one.
And I like my pumpkin pie, extra ginger, dark rum pumpkin pie I got from one of the gourmet magazine. Vegetarian Epicurean. That has some great recipes in it. Now, what I'm doing, or seemingly trying to do, is
Wendy agrees that Martha Stewart has great cookbooks and the one on pies is great, so that's another good option.
Which one?
The Martha Stewart one that you recommended.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. I don't know if she has something new that she has come out with. Bless your heart, Martha. Oh, really? That is what I should do. Now, this is the first for me. Working here with Carrie is doing lattice work.
Yeah, this is our first lattice pie together.
Yes. I learned from a Saint Martha to how to make pie without using lattice work, and one crust, but make the bottom shell crust wide enough that then you can fold it over your filling. Mm-hmm. And that is for fruit fillings that I used it for. Okay.
So you're kind of attaching some on the bottom and one of your edges to start.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Not the technique I use, so it's fun to learn someone else's technique.
Yes, this is a little bit more, how to put it, involved, mm-hmm. And if you have other ways of doing it, that's fine too.
I always love, my favorite is when you see people where they build the lattice on like a piece of parchment paper and then slide the whole thing on top of the pie.
Yeah.
So that way it doesn't touch the filling until you're absolutely ready for it, so you don't get like filling gunk.
Well, yeah, and this is doing that as well. I mean,
yeah, you're keeping yours off. That's why I was saying it's a unique technique.
So getting that kind of weaved look.
So it's always your over, under.
Yes, over.
I'm trying to describe it for people if they can't quite see your. It's in pretty good view, but just in case people can't see it, you always want to go under one, and then over the next one, right. Under one, over the next one.
This is if the people that you're serving to are very special.
Yeah, you could just lie them across each other in a checkerboard and it would still look nice.
But, you know, this is a lovely way of showing someone, oh, you are special.
I latticed a pie for you.
Yes. So don't complain.
Can everybody see okay? From what I'm looking at, the view looks pretty good, but let me know if you want me to like lift the camera up and get really down in there. I can do that.
Oops. Oh, there he is. While this may seem like, oh God, it really is not, you know, too much. Or what you could do if you want to have some crust on top, you can create a leaf pattern or a bird pattern, or there's many ways to do it.
Or hearts.
Or hearts, yes.
I know we're past Valentine's Day, but it's nice.
But, you know, I'm sure there will be someone that you could do that for.
I did a really cool apple pie once where I cut a bunch of like 150 circles out of my other half of my pie dough and laid them on almost like scales. They were like overlapped, so like dragon scale.
Oh, wonderful. That
looks cool.
So I didn't crimp until I did the lattice work. Now, I'm ready for the egg. I need 1 egg. Well, I don't need to have it.
You want to chill it first and then egg, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that.
Yeah.
And after I chill it.
Do you want me to stick it in the freezer for like 5 minutes?
Well, I guess you could put it in the freezer.
Do it in freezer for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I lied. You will see me on screen one more time. So I gotta come grab the pie. Gotta get my microphone in my pocket so I have both hands. All right. All set?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want to interrupt the master at work.
So here you go.
Thank you.
That will go in for about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I put the pie, which I will show you.
Oh, yes,
the finished product.
Gorgeous. TV magic. It's made already. We're done.
Yes.
Someone asked, does the cooking time change when doing a lattice or open pie in comparison to a covered top pie?
So that's a very good question. Because, well, one, this is strawberries. I think a lattice pie is better for that because, you know, the juices, the strawberries would be better able to receive the heat from the oven to allow them to cook and then let off their juices. Though I have made strawberry rhubarb pie with fold over crust. So it just depends. But this is what the pie recommended, the recipe. And I said, well, okay, I'll do it. And but I think with just strawberries, this is probably a better way.
To let all that out.
Yeah, let all the juices out. But I think we can go ahead and try.
Yeah, so we'll try, well, we can cut into this one, and then when the 5 minutes is up, we can talk about how we're gonna bake the other one. Gary will show you the egg wash and the sugar process, and we'll get that one in the oven, but we wanted to make sure we had one ready to go so that you're not sitting here for the entire, like, hour plus bake time of this pie. That would be a very boring live stream.
Yes, and this is very juicy.
Has to leave early, but says thanks and happy Easter.
Happy Easter, happy Passover,
Yeah.
happy spring, folks. And, you know, each season I love. You know, I love wintertime. I love the special pies to make or special dishes to make. Here you go, Carrie.
Thank you. I'm gonna wait to eat it until after we're done live streaming, just because I don't want
Okay.
to chew in people's ears in a microphone. I don't think folks would appreciate that, but it looks amazing, and I can't wait to try it.
And
Make everybody jealous that they can't be here eating it with us, and
well,
also make
you know, a
chewing
little bit
noises.
of jealousness. Jealousy is okay. We eat for you.
Yeah.
And Fred?
Fred gets to eat because he's not mic'd up. The forks are over on the stove if you want.
Yeah, I need one too. So I hope that people have enjoyed this.
And this is definitely one that you want to let cool before you eat it.
Yes.
So like I said, we're gonna leave the other one in the fridge or the freezer for just a few more minutes, then we'll demo that egg wash and sugaring and baking process. But we're gonna end a little bit before 7 today. So if anybody has questions at this point about this recipe, any of Gary's recipes, baking questions in general, now is a really good time in the next few minutes or so to get those into our chat, and I will ask them of Gary or answer them if I'm able to.
This is good.
Oh, we have a "That's ridiculous" from Fred. I don't know if that was picked up by the mic, so apparently it's a very good pie. So you'll have to try this one. And like I said, we do love getting pictures if people make these recipes at a later date. It's kind of like we're in your kitchen with you. So definitely you have my email. Feel free to email me photos. They always make my day.
There is the joy of eating a wonderful dish that you created. There's nothing like it. Nothing. And this excess dough, I just roll it out, cut it in pieces, put sugar on them, and you can put cinnamon too, and just pop it into the oven and with the pie. And I mean, I had that last night.
Yeah. Someone's asking, what is your favorite pie filling? Can you pick a favorite, or is it like, you know, picking a favorite child?
Well, I do have particular pies that I really have gone back to. My lavender blueberry pie. Plus also when I add blueberry liqueur to it, I love.
Yep.
Strawberry rhubarb pie with Grand Marnier and orange zest. That is, had somebody said it tasted like crack, but I thought he said crap. And I came out of the kitchen with a big butcher knife. And I said, what? When you said my pie tastes like crap. I said, crack. I love my chocolate, let's see, maple walnut Kahlua pie with chocolate bits. That's a good one.
Yep.
A macadamia date pie that I did for Christmas. That's
I feel like you've done a lot of your favorites with us because I was listening, and these are all ones that we've have live streams for. So
yeah. But also I love lemon curd pie. I've made lime curd pie or tart. and orange tart, orange curd tart. And when I made the lime curd, it's like, wow, this is really easy to do. You do have to be there with the curd, you know, when you're cooking on the stove, but it's really not that hard. I love my extra ginger and dark rum pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm. That one's good.
The salted caramel,
Yep.
caramel apple pie. I made that here,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah. And well, you know, there's many other pies. I love that rhubarb raspberry pie, the blackberry
I vote that one
rhubarb
next.
pie. Yes, that's a good one. It's a simple one, but it's a good one. I just like pie.
All right, so that's our 5 minutes. I'll go get the
Okay.
pie out of the freezer and we can do the egg wash and sugar part. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
And you said you needed an egg?
Mm-hmm. So glazing is not necessary, but presentation.
Did you guys get eggs? Did you bring eggs? Do I need to go buy one? Do I need to go buy you an egg? I can go.
Oh, no, I would just say,
Okay.
I thought they had eggs here and we don't.
I don't, sorry.
But
I didn't use them in class recently.
but I would put in a wash and of egg white and some sugar in it. Let's see. Oh, well, just egg white, just on the crust, and try not to get into the strawberry pie. And then sprinkle some sugar on top. You know, presentation may not be everything, but it sure helps. And it shows that, hey, you know, you're not just some run-of-the-mill baker, you know what you're doing. So that's all and then you pop it into the oven. So bon appetit. And it's been a lot of fun doing this pie with you. And I wish y'all a joyous, you know, spring season, Passover, Easter, whatever holiday or non-holiday you celebrate. Have a joyful, joyful time. And with that, I'm the pie guy. See y'all next week. Or I should say, see you in 2 months.
In 2 months, yeah. Yeah, so thanks so much to Gary for teaching tonight. We're going to get this one into the oven and get that baking while I do some dishes. But if anybody, someone has a question for you at the last minute.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is the best time to put in questions. Remember that we're seeing this on a little bit of a delay. So last minute questions. What's the difference between egg wash and brushing with cream?
I have done both. And I've done it with egg yolk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what the difference is, except with the egg yolk, you get a more maybe golden look to it. I just follow the recipes and, you know, what they call for it. So if they said, you know, egg white, well, then I'll do egg white. If they say egg yolk with some sugar, I'll do that. And I've done it with cream too. So, you know, that's another good question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't know, but I just go by what the recipes say. Until, you know, I do change it for taste. If I feel like it's not strong enough, I mean, I'll punch it up. You know, usually I do, like I did with this, added more sugar to it. But that's a very good question.
Oh, here someone said, someone knows the answer. One of them browns and one of them shines. Not sure which. I think it's cream browns and egg because of the protein.
Yeah. And with the egg yolk, I think that's where it gets the kind of golden look. But with egg white, and thank you for, see, this is a community. This is a communal effort. And we all have we have experiences, all of us, that we can share with each other and we can learn from each other. And I think that's very important.
Great. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm going to let everybody go a little early for their evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. The recording of this one will be up hopefully within a week. You can always go to our class calendar page, and there's a little button on the side for the recorded classes, and hopefully you'll send us pictures if you make this pie. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Gary for teaching.
And thank you. And again, please send us how you liked the pie. Let us know how your family liked it, if they didn't like it, and so we can learn from each other. But again, thank you so much for letting me, spend the time with you. And again, have a great spring.